Hey guys and girls, this is King Lear here from Proceed to Checkpoint, and I am continuing on with my making a Pokemon game series. So this episode we're going to actually get started on the game itself, and for the sake of just showing how things work, I'm going to be doing a Fire Red clone. So I will be working on my own one in my free time, and I'll show you bits and pieces of that as well. But for ease of just showing this is how you use the tool, I figure it's best to do it with something everyone is familiar with. So I've bundled all of the stuff it came with into one intro map, so everything is in its own area there. So I'm going to start a new map called YouTube Intro. And this one, it's just going to be to store things in, so I'm not going to change anything about it at all. Now, what I want to do today is show you mapping. So I am going to make Pallet Town. Now, Pallet Town is 24 tiles wide and 20 tiles in height. It uses the outside tile set, so here you can pick the tile set for the map you're creating. So runes, museum, department store, dungeons, Pokemart, Poke Center, inside, all of the different tile sets that you can have. We're going to go with the outside one for this. You don't need to worry about any of this stuff here. Background music, background sound, the amount of steps between encounters doesn't really apply to this Pokemon game. So there we go. We have a Pallet Town map inside our YouTube intro, and it's about the right size. So we're going to get started on making this this map now. Now, mapping is split out into layers. There's 3 layers and then an event layer as well. So any scripting will go on the events. And the 3 layers are, so you put the ground, the grass, stuff like that on layer 1. Anything you put on layer 2 will appear on top of that. And anything you put on layer 3 will appear on top of that again. So just for example, if I wanted to have grass, I wanted to put a house on the grass, and I wanted to put a sign on the house, I'd put the grass on layer 1, I'd put the house on layer 2, and I'd put the sign on layer 3, and then they'd all appear on top of each other in that order. For the sake of getting started here, I'm just going to use our handy flood fill tool to just fill the area with grass here. And then I'm going to get started. Now I'm going to, on layer 1, I am going to put down a group of trees. So I need, oh no, I don't want the flood fill this time. I want the pencil tool here. So I just click and go across, putting down the trees as I go. So there we go. There's a few trees there. Now I'll do the same on this side. And there we go. We have trees. We can continue down along here as well, doing the same again. Trees, 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 all the way down the side, just to have a border and an outline around the map itself. So we'll put trees along the outskirts here, and again, this is all being done here in layer 1. So the next thing we need to do is we need, I'm basically going off a screenshot of Pallet Town from Fire Red and trying to recreate that. So that's why it'll look as if I'm trying to design it a certain way. I'm trying to actually build Pallet Town from Fire Red. The next thing I need is there's a couple of trees that go along like this. Now I don't have the tiles to do that on layer 1, because as you see, we're going to get this little white gap there. So what I'm gonna have to do for the sake of these trees is switch into layer 2 and put the trees along like this. There we go. Now, I forgot to mention some of the view options. So I'm in layer 2 here, which means I can see the things there. I'm in layer 3 here, so I can see them, but they're not showing bright, so that means they're not on the layer I'm currently working on. When you're in the events layer, you can see the entire map as full. Over here in view, you can choose to only show the current layer. So this will show the layer I'm on and everything underneath it, but won't show you what's on top of it. If you turn on all, it will show you what's on top of it as well. And if you turn off the dim option, it won't dim things that aren't on the layer you're on. So you can set those up whatever way you want. I tend to have all turned on so that I can see the entire map as I'm working on it, and I tend to dim the other layers so I know what layer I'm working on at any particular time. Now the next thing we need in Pallet Town is the path leading out of the town. So there we go. We'll use some of these path tiles, and again I'm doing these in layer 1 because they're the base, they're the edge. So now we need to bring this path down and around the corner. So for that we can use one of these handy little corner tiles here. We can do the same over here, and then we can have our path run along here. And the path continues right down to here. Where it turns. Oh, and it runs just one tile past these trees. Now one tile past these trees. Oh, I screwed up the corner over here. Let's fix that. No, don't want that. I want that. It takes a bit of messing around with the tiles, trying to get them to lay out right so that your corners match up and all of that. But it's just a case of trying out all of these tiles, and you can see we have an awful lot of tiles in the tile set on the left hand side here. So it's just a case of trying out these tiles until you find what works and what looks good for your map. Now the next thing we need to do is to use a water tile. This one here in particular in the top left. Now the water tile, if we put it on layer 1, it's gonna have this white edge around it. So the water tile is the next thing that we're going to have to put on layer 2. So there we go. There's our water tile on layer 2. I'm not sure if that's too wide or not wide enough, but we'll go back and adjust it as we need to. So we'll continue with our path. I need to bring this along here, and again right down the edge of the map. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. Right down the edge of the map. Boom. So again, forgive me here for the way I'm talking through this. I'm literally trying to concentrate on creating this and getting it to look as closely as possible. This is really just so you can see the way I create this and the way we go about it. So that looks about right for here. And we need... what kind of tile do we need here? We need this kind of tile, so that we have our path at the side there. Now, I'm going to put in the first house so I can kind of see what we're aiming for here, because it's easier to design the paths when you have the houses and things in place. So we're going to take this... where is the Pallet Town house? So this is one of the Pallet Town houses. I'm going to put this on layer 3 because... actually, I'm going to put this on layer 2 because then if I have to put a sign or something on top of it, I can use layer 3. So the house... oh, the house should go here, like that. There should be a little mailbox next to it, so if we scroll back up the tile set, we can put a mailbox there. And now that that house is in place, that kind of shows us where we need to go from here. I'm going to continue and put in the second house as well, just so I know what way to design the path. So this is Ash's house and Gary's house. There we go. Yep, that is spot on. So that's where those houses are going to go. I'm also going to put in Professor Oak's lab so that we can work around that. So where is Professor Oak's lab? I know it's in this tile set. Where is Professor Oak? There it is. There it is. So again, this is going on layer 2. And it is going there. Yep, that looks about right. And then the second half of it over here. There we go. That is Professor Oak's lab in place. The next thing, again, I'm putting everything I can in layer 2 here first, because then it's easier to plan where my paths need to go. We need a signpost. Can I turn on the grid when I'm editing? Because the grid from mapping would be very handy. Options. Map grid. Okay. We want a 1x1 map grid. No, can't have one. 2x2. Why can't we have a 1x1 map grid? Will not let me reduce the size further down than that. That is a pain. Okay, we'll have to go by 2x2 then. 2x2 map grid. Okay, so our signpost is gonna be over here. There we go. Picket fence next to the signpost. Here is our picket fence. And the picket fence is 4 tiles long, so that looks about right. Now we need some flowers, because there's flowers in front of us. And again, placing all of these on layer 2 so that the grass shows underneath them. The signpost there, perfect. Now, what else do we need? We need another picket fence. Where were the picket fences? There are a lot of tiles here. There it is. Need to leave space. 2 more picket fences. And another signpost. There we go. So that's everything in the town building wise. all on layer 2 so that I can put the paths and the grass underneath them. I'll show you what I mean about the 3 layers now. So if I want to put a signpost on the wall of the house, it's a bad example because it's probably not going to fit on the house wall, but let's say I wanted to put a signpost here. I can't put it there, it's going to appear underneath the wall. I can't put it on layer 1 because the house is going to appear on top of it, so I need to use layer 3. And then if we look at the whole thing, the sign is on the house itself. Again, that looks a bit crappy, but it's just to show you the difference between each of the layers. So everything you put on top is going to appear on top of the things in the layers beneath it. So now that we have everything in layer 2 in place, we can go back down to layer 1. We can still see the outline of our houses and our signposts and things, which means we can start to build the paths around that. So what we need to do is we need to create the paths. So now we need one that goes into the house here. Create a little entranceway into the door. There we go. And then continue it along again. Again, it's a bit tricky sometimes to find the tiles that match up with what you're trying to do. But normally if you play around a bit, you can work it out. So there we go. So now if we look back here, you can see, hey, the house has a path around it. It's a little entranceway the path is going into. Perfect. So now back down to layer 1 and we will continue this. We need a little line here. We need to do the same thing over this side. So what's the best way to do this? It's not that. It's probably that, actually. No, it's not. Wrong way. God damn it. There we go. Entranceway to the house. Path. And we need this corner tile. So is it this one? It is that one. There we go. Perfect. Continue this along. This is another one where it has space up the side of it as well. So we need this. We need to take this tile here, and we need to take this tile here. There we go. And now we can have this path continue the whole way down here, except here where we need this one, because there's no grass between the corners here. Again, we need an entrance to bring it in here. Continue along to the corner. Wrong corner. Wrong corner again. This is the trickiness of this. Trying to work out what goes where. No, that is definitely backwards. I'm fairly new to mapping, so forgive me here how much of a pain in the ass it is to find what tiles work where. What the hell kind of tile do we need for this? Copy, paste, because it's this one, whatever it is. There we go. Now we can go back to making the path again. I have the selection tool on. Go back to making the path again. So there we go. That is Oak's house. Now here we need this tile. We need this tile the whole way along. We need to branch it down here. On tile. There we go. We need to turn it not that way. Not that way. This is such a pain in the ass sometimes, I tell you that. That way. There we go. Bring this along here. There we go. Bingo. Now here we need to do much the same. Wrong way. There we go. And the path. Actually, I have done this wrong. No, that's right. That was right. There we go. Minus this. Nope. Wrong one again. This. There we go. Now. Sorry about that. Now, there we have it. We have Pallet Town. So, Sorry for the long episode and a bit of quietness during it, but this mapping business takes a bit of concentration. Obviously, for building your own maps, it's just a case of playing around with these tile sets here. All of the different types of tile sets that it has. Just right click, new map, choose your width, choose your height, choose the tile set. So here's the Pokemon Center tile set, for example. And then you can build your own maps. So this is a hopefully pretty close recreation to Pallet Town in Pokemon Fire Red. So this was just a basic introduction to how layers work, how you can view your map, and how you can design your own map. Next time, we're going to start looking at how to do the introduction to your Pokemon game and get the player on this map that we've just created so that we can begin playing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're interested, hit that subscribe button because we're going to have more tutorials, more walking through me creating a Pokemon game in the future. So please do hit that subscribe button if it's something you're interested in and you want to learn how to do. I'm not a mapping expert by any stage. Like, this was the first map I've built from scratch, really. And it is an exact clone of one from a previous game. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have in the comments. Don't forget about that Relic Castle website I linked in the first video. I'll put it in the description of this again. They're a really good community if you're starting out in this and want to learn how to make maps and the game itself. Cheers for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.